His tactics didn't work? No, he must try harder to win over the fair maiden.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the
Miladies.
No, we're wrong.
Hello friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today, we are jumping right back into r/TalesofNeckbeards. Yay! And guess who's back? User Bright Rice. Yes, indeed. The Wheezybeard saga continues today. But before we jump into it, of course, I'm going to need to give some plugs and a disclaimer. Because we all remember how heavy the end of the Wheezybeard saga got. This time around, no, Wheezybeard is not coming back from jail or whatever. This is like Tarantinoing it, bringing it back to before the horribleness. So I'm quite looking forward to some more Wheezybeard tales, and I hope you are as well. So without any further delay, let's jump right into things. Wheezybeard Part 12.
Wheezybeard, the seduction expert.
I'm back again. I know I finished the main story, but now I can talk about some of my encounters with Wheezybeard. A lot of people have seen how much of a prick he can be, but he had moments where I honestly hoped that he would change. A new character to our story is Selena, my ex-roommate. She was tall for a girl, looking especially tall whenever I was around her. All settled in with the house, we got it to an okay standard of clean, and I decided that I would invite Selena over for a sleepover. Oh, I'm sure Wheezybeard loved that. She was a great friend, and she'd been messaging me daily to see how I was, and to tell me that she missed me and our morning coffee and gossip. I tried to warn her about Wheezybeard, but she assured me that she was ready for whatever he could throw at her. Oh, famous last words. Wheezybeard, of course, did not disappoint. His eyes lit up as soon as I told him I was having another girl stay over. He was licking his lips, looking for new prey. God help this woman.
What does she look like?
He asks. God help me. If you make a move, I'm going to kill you. She's a friend. Leave her alone, I said. And he smiled.
I love a challenge.
What a freak. Stay away from her. I mean it, Wheezybeard. And with that, I slammed my door. Selena drove me home after work. We dropped in on Grandma's to check on her. We had coffee and biscuits as we chatted until Grandma excused herself to get ready for bed, telling us to have a great night. Aw, love you, Grandma. Miss you. We walked over to the house, and nothing could have prepared us for Wheezybeard. In his underwear, laying down on his bed in what he presumed was a sexy pose. It was not. His pale chest, covered with little chest hair but stretch marks all the way up to his moobs, man boobs, and angry red pimples were spotted all over him. Ugh. His unshowered stench hit us as soon as we stepped in.
Hello, Selena. OP told me you were coming, so I waited up for you.
He slipped on his gross brown bathrobe.
But nothing could have prepared me for the goddess before me,
he continued. Selena was standing there, absolutely gobsmacked. Wheezybeard, back off. This is a guest, not a piece of meat, I told him, trying to shield her from his gaze. Wheezybeard smiled.
A little jealous, OP?
He walked to the kitchen and took out 3 glasses.
I'm just being friendly. Selena, care for some libations, my sultry goddess?
As he pours each of us some Mountain Dew. Oh my God. He's going full James Bond. Or trying his best to, I suppose. Selena just turned up her nose. I'm not your goddess, and call me sultry once more and I'll shove that bottle so far up your ass you'll taste plastic for a month. Wheezybeard was taken aback. His tactics didn't work? No. He must try harder to win over the fair maiden. Wheezybeard bowed and tipped an invisible fedora as he took his exit.
I will give you the chance to make yourself comfortable, but remember, I am at your beck and call.
This man is so thick. In multiple ways. Glad the initial meeting was done, at least. And it did go as smoothly as is possible with that asswipe. We took snacks to my bedroom and laid back, watching TV and talking like old times. After a while, there was a knock at the door. Fucking hell, nothing deters this guy.
Selena, can I show you something?
He asks. No, we're having girl time. She doesn't want to see whatever you have to show her, I yell back. Wheezybeard then opens my door to reveal he's in a top hat. And what looks like a cheap tux that looks like it's barely holding itself together.
Don't I look dapper this evening? Would you both like to accompany me to the dinner table?
Removing a pipe from his pocket to finish his weird ensemble. Selena and I roared with laughter. You look like the fat controller from Thomas the Tank Engine, Selena said with tears in her eyes.
Bitches these days, you will soon see.
As he slammed my bedroom door shut, he left us alone for the rest of the afternoon. We eventually went to bed. Oh, where's the cane? Where's the monocle? You gotta complete the outfit. I'm pulled from my sleep by a rough shake. OP, wake up! Selena points to Wheezybeard in the corner with a bleeding nose, clutching hair? This creep snuck in to cut some of Selena's hair out. Jesus Christ.
Just wait, princess. You'll be mine soon enough.
And he ran out of the room. I'm beyond furious at this point, and I went to his lounge and confronted him. Why are you being such a creep? I grabbed him by his greasy hair and threatened to cut him if he didn't tell me why he thought it was okay to come into my room to cut Selena's hair. Wheezybeard just started crying.
I have a warlock friend.
Jesus Christ.
I have a warlock friend who was going to do a mate bond. She would have found me irresistible.
He was officially talking crazy. You wanted to do some voodoo shit with my friend's hair? This is your problem, Wheezybeard. You don't have a grasp on reality. You have all these weird fantasies, and you don't understand why that creeps everyone out. Do yourself a favor and just act normal. Try to act normal. I put my hand out for my friend's hair. He handed it to me and turned to sob into his pillow. Probably the anime body pillow. I went back and apologized for Wheezybeard being so weird. I did feel bad for him because he genuinely did not know how to interact with people. Selena did not want to stay after that, obviously. In the next story, I meet Wheezybeard's friends, oh Jesus, who were just as delusional as he was and held
a gathering.
Thanks to everyone reading my stories and reaching out to me. You are all amazing people who I wish were around when this was happening. Well, I hope this didn't mean the end of yours and Selena's friendship. Like, you could have gone back over to the house you used to stay in and hung out with her there, away from this freaking creep. A warlock mate bond. I've never heard of something so ridiculous. Usually neckbeards are like too euphoric to believe in anything that they can't see with their own eyes, but apparently not Wheezybeard, man. He's willing to try anything once, I guess. Oh, I have to wonder, OP, if your door had a lock at this time. Because if it didn't, then I would have highly suggested investing in one so shit like this didn't happen anymore. This story encapsulates the duality of neckbeards, you know? He walks around in a top hat and like a tuxedo, fat guy in a little coat, and everybody thinks it's hilarious. And then he creeps into your room in the middle of the night with scissors to fucking cut a girl's hair off, and it's like, oh god. This ride has spiraled out of control extremely quickly. Like, we know Wheezybeard is dangerous considering all that we've learned about him, but even this situation should have set off major alarm bells. Absolutely horrifying. As always, we definitely appreciate the stories, and we are going to jump into another one and meet all of Wheezybeard's probably horribly cringy friends right now. Wheezybeard Part 13.
The party.
Oh, lucky Part 13. Here we go. Hi, everyone. A quick little statement before my story. I can hear everyone asking, why do you keep putting up with Wheezybeard? Sometimes I ask myself the same question. I do think partially it's because of having the parents that I had. In a way, I learned that my needs were often second to theirs and thereby other people's needs. I would often help people to the point of my own detriment. My backbone is slowly forming, but it's a work in progress. Yeah, it's definitely easy to point fingers at OP, but unless you're in the actual situation, you don't really know how you would react to something like this. It's easy to read a Reddit post and be like, oh, I would have kicked his ass, but the proof is in the pudding. Anyways, people like Wheezybeard always knew how to make me pity him, and Grandma telling me that he did have a good side always made me want to ignore the red flags and just hope that he would change for the better. I gave him a lot of feedback when he did the wrong things. I'm sorry about this explanation, but I felt the need to justify why I didn't give up or find new living arrangements or even just go to the police. I always felt that he just didn't know any better, and I didn't want to damage his life in any way. OP is just too pure for this world, I'm telling you. Anyways, on to my story. One night after arriving home from a 12-hour shift, I saw Wheezybeard was waiting for me. Wheezybeard showed me a text he got from some friends inviting him
To a party!
and Wheezybeard asked in the text if he could bring a friend as well. He asked if I'd be interested in going with him. I had the next 2 days off, so I thought, yeah, I could use a party. All I did was work, eat, and sleep. He told me
It was $20 entry for alcohol and pizza.
I thought that was reasonable. It was on a Wednesday night. Great night for a party. With Wheezybeard driving, we got there at about 9 p.m. We arrived in a nice little cul-de-sac, and it was so quiet you could literally hear crickets. It was still early-ish, maybe they were still setting up? Oh, how naive I was. We got to the front door, and a man wearing a wizard hat and a cape. A wizard hat and a cape answered the door. He was almost as big as Wheezybeard, but he had a proper neckbeard with quite a severe overbite. I felt bad for this poor guy. His teeth weren't looked after, and he couldn't properly hide them behind his lips. I began to rethink this party, but I wasn't going to waste time moping in Wheezybeard's car. This wizard mentioned for the money. We entered, and before me there were at least 10 guys hunched over different tables playing card games. How was this a party? Oh god, they all turned as the wizard called out,
Wheezybeard is here, and he has a girlfriend.
I am horrified as each of them stared at me. Wheezybeard smiled and escorted me over to introduce me to each of them. None of them spoke to me directly. I had invaded their lair, and they had not prepared themselves for female interaction apparently. All of their questions were aimed at Wheezybeard to answer as if I couldn't speak for myself. Like,
What does she do for work? Does she live with you?
those sorts of questions. I sat on a futon for an hour and a half as Wheezybeard walked around, versing each person. A few guys would come and sit next to me for a minute or two before going back to a card game. It was really weird, and I was getting hangry. The wizard soon came. The wizard. I love how we just call him the wizard. The wizard soon came and sat down with me. I decided to ask the wizard where the food and beverages were. He told me,
There was some food and drinks in the kitchen.
I awkwardly decided to help myself and at least have some nourishment while I watched these men battle it out with figurines and cards. I paid for 2 of the tiniest slivers of pizza left in the box and some warm LA ice cola with an almost empty goon bag. Walking back into the battlegrounds, I noticed everyone's eyes on me. Wheezybeard told me that
He had organized a match for me to play.
I didn't know how to really play, so he quickly went over the rules. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I sorta remembered watching growing up. Hopefully I got sent to the Shadow Realm quickly. I was given a dragon deck that wasn't very powerful, and I went up against an Archangel deck. I don't know how to special summon. No one wanted to help me, so I got slaughtered at once. Wheezybeard suggested that
We play strip poker, except with Yu-Gi-Oh!
mind you, I am the only girl in this house, so it was a hard pass from me. You guys can play with each other, literally. I don't know how to play, so I'm not going to be stripping down. Thank you for inviting me, but Wheezybeard, I'd like to go home now, please, I asked. Wheezybeard and his friends were trying to convince me
They could help me play if I agreed to play strip Yu-Gi-Oh!
even winning would be losing, as I didn't particularly want to see any of these men in any state of undress. So I continued to the door. Wheezybeard followed me out, told me,
I was being rude, and they were just trying to ease the tension.
what a way to try and ease the tension. Demand that one woman get undressed in a room full of guys. Oh, horrible. I told him that I wasn't enjoying myself. This wasn't a party, and that I'd paid $20 for somebody's leftovers, and I wanted to go home and call it a night. Wheezybeard was ticked, having to drive me home. He asked me
if I was willing to come next week, and that he'd make sure that I had more to eat.
I told him no, that I wasn't interested in the party at all. It just wasn't my thing. The next day, Wheezybeard was nice enough to give me the $20 refund out of his own pocket for coming with him. Thank you for reading this story, and a big thanks to ReddX, for always keeping an eye out for and reading my stories. Please subscribe to him. He is so dedicated to his fans. Dang-o, spitting facts over here. I hope everyone learns from my mistakes, and all of you have a great whatever the time of day it is. I always appreciate the shout out, Bright Rice. It's definitely not easy to sit down and make a video every day, but I feel like, seeing the numbers go up and getting all the comments and interacting with all the people is reward enough in itself. I really do enjoy making these videos for you guys, especially since people seem to like the content. And I'd like to thank you as well, Bright Rice, for writing the content. Otherwise, we'd know nothing about Wheezybeard, which is quickly becoming one of the biggest sagas on this channel, and one that I got to experience while it was fresh, which is totally cool. I do want to hear a bit more about the wizard. I'm immediately curious, like, I assume it was his house or something like that. Why was he dressed like a wizard, though? What game was he playing? It had to have been magic, right? That's what wizards play, I guess. I definitely think that Wheezybeard sort of misled you purposely by saying it was a party, because it's obviously not a party, unless it's a D&D, like, adventuring party or something like that. If he said a gathering, a small gathering of friends where we all sit around and play nerd games together, I don't think OP would have gone. But Wheezybeard knew what he was doing, plotted this out meticulously, and still had the gall to charge her $20 to go. I mean, at least he did pay her back, but man, $20 is not going to be enough. You got 10 or 11 probably plus-sized humans there. How many pizzas are you going to get for like $200? Probably about 10. And I'd wager that each of those boys could eat 10 by themselves. So it's super sad that OP had to, try and make do with warm cola and like skinny-ass pizza slices. That's just pathetic. But I'm proud of you, OP, for standing up and saying, I don't want to be here anymore. This is lame as hell. And also creepy as hell. Because as we've seen from the Ramtide stories, anytime a woman gets involved with nerd activities, the whole dynamic of the room shifts, Everybody's out there to just
prove themselves as an alpha male.
And how do they do that? By giving you a pre-built Yu-Gi-Oh deck and letting someone like beat you into the ground with it? Woohoo! You didn't even explain to her how to play. How is this like at all fair? If everything was put on an even playing field, I have no doubt that OP would have been strategic enough to win. But that's exactly what they were afraid of, wasn't it? So I'm definitely glad that you showed some backbone in this story in particular, asking to go home, saying that you didn't want to go back. The only other place that you could have corrected people is, saying, I'm not Wheezybeard's girlfriend. Please don't get it twisted. But then you might have exposed yourself to a bunch of gentlemen maladying you all night long, which could have made things worse. So probably a smart play there as well. Anyways, we got one more story to get into, and then I'm going to get out of here. But let's jump into it. Wheezybeard Part 14.
Cobalt, the Alpha.
Oh, all hail Cobalt. I decided I might push out another story today, as memories come back from my time with Wheezybeard. Wheezybeard had a best friend called Cobalt that basically thought he was a werewolf. Oh, Jesus. This is the chronicle of my first meeting with Cobalt. I was sitting in my room reading when I hear someone entering the house. I'm alone, and I'm thinking, who would want to break in here? That's true. They probably look around and be like, what a dump. I'm leaving. I tiptoe to the kitchen where this lanky guy is pouring himself a glass of Mountain Dew. He noticed me and nearly choked on his drink. Sorry, who are you? I ask him as he tries to breathe. After composing himself, he says,
Hi, I'm Cobalt. I'm friends with Wheezybeard. Are you OP?
Wheezybeard has never mentioned him, but I guess I don't take that much interest in Wheezybeard. Hi, yeah, I'm OP. Sorry, Wheezybeard isn't here at the moment. I'm not sure who this guy is, so I decided to just leave him alone. A short while later, Wheezybeard arrives home and asks me to come over to him.
OP, this is Cobalt. He's an alpha werewolf.
Wheezybeard says proudly.
He taught all of his pack's pups and is gonna teach me how to phase and be like him.
Wheezybeard is like a fucking Dungeons and Dragons die, into a little bit of everything that's neckbeardy. Although at the time I just chalked it all up to his nerdy interests and also friends influencing some new interests, like our werewolf boy, star of the show. Have you ever seen him as a werewolf? I asked Wheezybeard. Wheezybeard shook his head in derision.
Cobalt has this wolf inside of him, but it doesn't come out anymore.
So he's schizophrenic? I'm confused. I thought werewolves shifted at a full moon, I said. Cobalt.
Common misconception. It's a stereotype. It only happens as you learn to channel your inner wolf. Some people go their whole lives without knowing how to let out their inner wolf.
So how can he be the alpha werewolf if he's never been an actual werewolf? I guess he just started his own pack and he's like, okay, I'm the alpha now. Better recruit Wheezybeard so I have some underlings. Whatever, rightio. Might as well watch Wheezybeard try to release his inner werewolf. Better warn Grandma. She might get a heart attack watching Wheezybeard trying to unleash his inner werewolf. I did go over to tell Grandma and she just laughed. Oh, they're having fun. Let them play their make-believe. She is so patient with Wheezybeard. Grandma is also too good for this world. I sat front row on the lawn as Wheezybeard stood there shirtless, in a sort of Kamehameha build-up as he was told to howl and growl like a wolf. It was quite funny watching him run around the yard, scratching dirt out of the garden, and getting yelled at by Grandma to stop ruining her flower garden. After an exhausting hour with no progress, Cobalt tells him that
he can sense the wolf is within him.
Is he for real, or is he just trying to troll Wheezybeard? Feeling bad for Wheezybeard, who is now starting to question whether Cobalt is really a werewolf, I have an idea. I'm gonna see if Cobalt can stay in character. The next day, after another hour of watching these two try yet again with no success, I offer for Cobalt to stay for dinner. I run to the store to buy some supplies. I come home with 2 boxes of pizza, as well as some other items. I ask the boys to get washed up for dinner. You may think that I'm a bitch, and I don't blame you, but I sort of saw Wheezybeard like a brother at the time, and I wanted to see how serious Cobalt actually was. I returned with pizza on mine and Wheezybeard's plate, and I had a dog bowl with dog food in it for Cobalt. He looked shocked, and to his credit, he had a few mouthfuls before hurling in the toilet. Wheezybeard told me,
It's his human side rejecting the food, not his wolf
side. A convenient excuse. Okay then, on to test number 2. We went to the local animal shelter, and I asked Cobalt to unleash his alpha command on some of the dogs there. Cobalt probably hated me at this point, but he needed to prove himself to Wheezybeard for whatever reason. We chose to start small with the Chihuahua. He laid eye level with the Chihuahua, softly growling, and then a commanding bark. The Chihuahua was obviously confused. He then sat up a little higher, snarling at the poor dog, and in true Chihuahua fashion, it charged him and bit his nose. You don't start with the small dogs. Small dogs don't know they're small. I asked if he wanted to try again.
I need a dog closer to a wolf. This dog has lost a lot of his wolf heritage and therefore will not submit to me.
As luck would have it, Cobalt had a dog who he
could communicate with.
I will continue this story later in a part 2. Oh, Lord, don't keep me waiting. All these cliffhangers. Ah. This might be the beginning of an entirely new saga. We could have the Cobalt saga on top of the Wheezybeard saga. I don't know how much time that OP actually spent with this werewolf man. But I am morbidly curious about what happens. So we will definitely be diving into part 2 when that drops. So along with Voodoo, Wheezybeard apparently also believes in werewolves, so he's super into magic. He doesn't just dress as a wizard, he is a wizard. And he aims to become such a high-level wizard that he'll be able to master the power of transmogrification. Is that what they call it? I'm pretty sure that's what they call it. But transmogrification is different from actually being a werewolf, although a lot of the werewolf propaganda that you see is just that from the media. You shouldn't take any mind of it. Everybody determine for themselves what it means to be a werewolf, I guess. I'm not sure what's up with all these neckbeards that insist that they are werewolves. We've also heard about like a fat neckbeard vampire clan. So it's either those two, vampires or werewolves. And I'm sure every neckbeard out there will claim to hate Twilight, but you're playing it out right before my eyes. It's hilarious. I want to see a neckbeard who swears he's a zombie, or a ghost, or an elf, or a kappa, or a kenku, or one of those other D&D races. Now that would be interesting. Werewolves, bruh, it's overdone. It's played out. Pick something new. Anyways, I'm super glad to have these Wheezybeard sagas on the record. I'm so glad that Bright Rice has decided to continue writing, because I was so sad when it was over before. But it ain't over till it's over, baby. And if you did enjoy this episode as well, I hope that you will like, comment, and or subscribe. Check out the link swarm in the description. There are some links there that weren't plugged on the splash card at the beginning of the video, so you should check it out. I would also like to thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. Oh yes, we've got a couple more coming through today. You can see some names on the screen, but in particular, I'd like to thank Lady Nix, Robert Waits, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, Cider Drinker, Tato Fair, The Lash Shinobi, Mark Dixon, Michael Undead, Aaron W, Mitch, John Hero, and Josh K. Thank you guys so much for supporting. If anybody else can support monetarily, obviously that's massively appreciated. But if you can't, don't sweat it too much. I just appreciate you coming on through and hanging out with me today. And I definitely hope that you come on through and hang out with me again tomorrow, because we're doing this thing daily. In order to do so, you'll need to keep yourself safe out there. So definitely wash your hands. It's one of the most important things that you can do. And take some time out to do something that you enjoy today. Something just for yourself. Maybe that's watching ReddX videos. Maybe you want to watch another one. I would highly encourage that. Anyways, thank you once again for watching, friends. I will see you in the next one. And until then, bye-bye.